Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Voices. In today's episode, I'm going to talk about a couple of movies that I watched recently that kind of all fall under the theme of, family friendly horror, which has to do with horror movies about theme parks and family type places. So the first one that I watched, yeah. So the first one that I watched is Willys Wonderland, which is a movie you can watch on Hulu that has Nicolas Cage. That is essentially a Five Nights at Freddy's slash Chuck E. Cheese kind of energy movie that is literally like, I think this movie stuck with me so long after I watched it. So first of all, I do not like parody horror. I don't like comedic horror. But to me, there's a difference between like poking fun at horror and using horror to incite humor. I think there's two very different things there. And Willy's Wonderland was a very fun ride. It is literally a movie that is about Nick Cage beating the shit out of some animatronics that come to life and try to kill everybody. And it's a really, really cool concept. It's super similar to Five Nights at Freddy's. It's like the FNAF movie that we've been waiting on, but it's not FNAF. It's Willy's Wonderland. It's super, super well done in general. Like, the gore is really well done. The story is super, the story moves along in a way that is kind of familiar, but not so familiar that you get comfortable. You're kind of like, okay, like, let's learn more about Willy's Wonderland. But it was hysterical. It has all of the teenagers that are in the movies are typical horror movie trope teenagers. There's the couple that goes off to have sex. There's the guy that's in love with the girl, but she doesn't necessarily feel the same way. This girl from a broken past, this kind of like geeky guy, like it's very tropey in that regard. But there's some elements in it that are just done really, really well. And I think the kills, the fact that Nicolas Cage's character literally says not a single word the entire film, which when I watched with Ricky kind of was like, it kind of annoys me that he's not talking. And I was like, no, it's tropey. He's like this mysterious man with this weird past and who's come into this town and we don't know why he's so good at killing animatronics, but he is. It's very bizarre. And it's very FNAF in the sense that, there's somebody who shows him the ropes his first night, tells him what he needs to do, what the goal is for the night, gives him his shirt, welcomes him to their family or whatever. And in that regard, it was really well done. I wouldn't say it was scary. I don't think I felt like on edge or anything, but it was comedic horror that I feel like was done very well. And I really liked it. It has some cult vibes, some slasher vibes. Like, it had a lot of stuff kind of mixed into one film, and it was a lot of fun to watch. I will definitely probably watch that one again. That's one I'd probably pay to own, actually. I intend to actually rewatch it a second time. And I chose not to do a 30-second review on this because I was going to talk about it in this video, because it's summertime, everybody's doing things with their family. I thought it'd be kind of funny to talk about horror movies that are about family fun, and this was definitely one of them. Contemplated doing Jaws, but decided against it. I kind of stuck with a theme here. So, but yeah, Willy's Wonderland is super, super good. I believe you can watch it on Hulu. I actually put a reminder on my phone when I found out it was going to be released on Hulu. Still looking for a Willy's Wonderland shirt that I like, and I cannot find one that looks exactly like the one Nick Cage wears. I'm going to keep looking because I really, really want one. But it's really good. You should watch it. I think anybody that likes tropey, like comedic horror that's done well with really good gore effects and stuff like that, I think would really enjoy it. It was a fun ride. Trying not to do spoilers in case people get interested enough to watch it. I don't want to ruin anything. But it's really good. And then one of the other ones that I thought was really good was the Banana Splits, the movie. So I don't know, the Banana Splits was a show that was out, I believe, in the 60s. I actually remember watching it on late night TV when like things went off the air and there's like nothing on except Space Ghost Coast to Coast and the fucking Banana Splits. But Banana Splits was also a very wild ride. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's very similar. It's a lot more human gore in this one, I feel like, and the story's very different. because it's about a TV show and not like a place that you go hang out and have pizza for your birthday or whatever. But it's really well done, and it's essentially a story about this little boy who loves the banana splits, but he's sort of at an age where his dad feels like, oh, he's too old for this. He shouldn't even like this show, but like he still wears the little pajamas and like super into the show. So his mom gets him tickets to go for his birthday, and so he, his parents, and his older brother, who was his mom's son from previous marriage, he's a teenager, go to the banana split show. And while they're there, the girl, the hostess of the show, she announces that if there's a star under her chair, that like you get to go backstage and meet all of the banana splits and hang out with them and get like see all the stages and stuff. And so he looks under his chair and it's not there. And his brother, who is actually one of my favorite characters, he's such a good character, really wants to make his brother happy. So he actually goes to pretend to use the bathroom and finds the host to like beg her to let his brother come backstage. So she does. And that's when things kind of start to go awry. The show is set up to be canceled, and the animatronics overhear it, and well, they're not too fond of that. Really good story. I like the family aspect of the story is really good. The dad that is the stepdad of the teenager is a prick to the teenager, I guess, because he's from like a previous marriage. So there's like some drama there. The teenager turns out to be a really good kid. He's just older. Actually, he might not be a teenager. He might be supposedly like a young adult. Maybe. Because I think they talk about the fact that, like, how do you still live at home when you're this old? You're, like, a loser and blah, blah, blah. That's what the stepdad says. And so maybe he actually is supposed to be, like, 19 or 20 maybe. But anyway. The mom just trying to do, like, everything she can to make this birthday the best for her son. And the friend that's supposed to go that likes the show couldn't make it. So they end up asking somebody else who doesn't want to go. There's a lot of, like, little mechanics that set up the story along the way. But the gore scenes are so over the top and so well done at the same time. There's a couple different groups of people that get to go backstage and meet the banana splits. One is like this, these content creators, like Instagram couple or whatever, that are there to record their experience with the banana splits because they love them. And, there's this guy there with his daughter that gets to go backstage, and he's like, his daughter's like the next big thing. So he wants to talk to producers and get her a job and pimp her out basically. And then there's the family whose son actually is just like really excited to see and, like go backstage and see everything. And it was a really cute movie. I liked it a lot. Especially I think because I watched the show before. It was really good in the sense that like, I remember the show, I remember the characters, and I remember like that stupid theme song that used to always get stuck in your head. And it was an interesting, funny movie though. And it had a very, like, I loved the ending. Like, it was just very over the top and fun, and I really loved it. And I actually decided I wanted to see it when I watched Dead Meat do a kill count for it, which I guess that was like, I guess last summer sometime I had seen the thing. It's an older movie, and I'd seen the kill count for it, so I kind of knew a lot of what already was going to happen. I was like, I really need to watch that movie because I really like the banana splits. So if you're thinking about going to see a show like that and go backstage, maybe don't this time. It could be bad juju. But that was another really good one. And then this last movie that was supposed to be like this is one that I am super confused by, and it's a movie called Escape to Tomorrow. It's a movie filmed in black and white, or done in black and white, and the entire movie takes place at Disney World. Spoiler alert: I did not finish this movie. I think the movie was like just under 2 hours. I thought it was going to be like something similar to like Willys Wonderland or Banana Splits, where like the animatronics, like something happens and they come alive and bad things happen to everybody in the park, and there's like mass murder and like that's kind of stuff I was looking for. And that's not at all what I got. So this movie is about this husband who, while he's at Disney on vacation with his wife and his 2 kids, he gets let go from his job. So he instantly is in like this state of depression where he's like, oh no, what am I going to tell my family? And it just is kind of like, that's kind of how the movie starts. And then they go to the parks. Well, while they're at the park, the dad catches sight of these 2 French girls that are very underage. And so for the next like hour, that was the entire movie. making his son go on rides he didn't want to go on, passing his son off to his wife so he could stay at the park, even though his son was throwing up from the ride, and like so he'd go find these girls and oogle at them, and like I was reading a lot of reviews about it because it wasn't horribly rated. I don't remember what its score was, but I remember seeing reviews that were like, oh, this is like a recommended if you like these kind of movies, you know? And so I went and looked back at some of the reviews, and it's like, you know, one of the things that I saw was like, this movie doesn't take itself too serious, and it's like dark comedy. And I'm like, okay, but like it's not. Like, it's literally a movie about some middle-aged white guy who gets super upset that he loses his job and is thinking about banging two girls who are like 14 and like fuck all to his family. And it's not funny and it's not entertaining, and it just left me going like, what is this movie even about? So like the picture of the movie is like a yellow background with like a Mickey hand sort of, and it actually kind of reminds me of the game Bendy and the Ink Machine, like the way that visual looks on the poster. And like I looked to see how far I was into the movie when we watched it, and I was like, this movie is making me uncomfortable in a not good way. Like, you know, like walking home late at night and you notice somebody's following you, like that type of discomfort. I was so uncomfortable with this movie, and I didn't find it to be a dark comedy. I didn't find it to be some huge statement piece on depression and insanity and like being, you know, like it was just very difficult to care about any of the characters anymore. Like, it was very strange. And like the only parts that after an hour and some change into this movie, the only thing that had happened was a few faces had been warped on It's a Small World ride, which, let's be clear, we all see those faces warp because that is a scary ass ride. And then like he imagines his family saying things to him that they aren't actually saying, but that's it. And it just felt like a very thrown together movie without very much of a point. And I didn't really like it that much. I thought that it was going to be something that it wasn't, which maybe that's my fault for having high expectations, but it just kind of like it drug on and on and on. And I don't really like that style. I don't even know if that's a style. The black and white is supposed to be like edgy, I guess. Like, oh, we're filming like the old days, like Walt Disney. And it's just like, I don't know. It just fell super flat for me, and I did not enjoy it at all. Especially compared to the Banana Splits movie and Willys Wonderland. Because those two were just so well done, so well cast, so well written, so well executed, that this other movie just left me like utterly confused. I just didn't get it. And I don't know if like let me just see. I want to see what its IMDb score is, because I honestly don't remember what it was, but I didn't think it was horrible. Maybe it was. Maybe I just was like, oh, I'm gonna watch it anyway, because sometimes they don't know what they're talking about. Let me see. It was called Escape Tomorrow. Escape to Tomorrow. Oh shit! I fucked up and hit something crazy. Nope. Escape to Tomorrow. Nope. Escape from Tomorrow. Escape from Tomorrow. My bad. 2013. So the story, it says, this is what it says the story is. In a world of fake castles and anthropomorphic rodents, an epic battle begins when an unemployed father's sanity is challenged by a chance encounter with two underage girls on holiday. The problem is that was like all that it focused on, was him wanting to bang these two girls that are not old enough to bang. Like, I just didn't fucking get it. So, okay, so it got a 5.1 out of 10, but there was like a review. There was like a review I thought that said something about like, let me see. So this one says, great concept, lacks follow through. The idea of a man finding out he's been laid off or fired on the last day of his vacation and suffering a mental breakdown is an interesting appeal. I agree with that. However, the plot was uneven. Some mental breakdowns, some interest in way too young women, some random interludes with older women. The guerrilla filming was great, but the story of mental breakdown could have been better. Instead of being a random set of stories of a degenerate man who isn't faithful and puts his needs above his family's, based on descriptions, I expected a story about mental breakdown due to stress, but instead it was more about the guerrilla filming style. He should have spent more time on the script. Imperfect and not for everyone. The infamous film that was shot almost... Okay, I think this is the review that I read. The thought was, when it opened at Sundance in January, that Disney would sue it out of existence, but maybe you'd only ever be able to see it if it popped up online at some point. In the end, though, Disney just decided to ignore it. So the next question has to be, does this actually work as a film? In my opinion, it very much is a curio, but not just because of the circumstances of its production. It is, in fact, an extremely weird film. It's far from perfect, but really it's so weirdly entertaining that I don't really care. The one thing I really love about it is the black and white cinematography. It's really gorgeous and eerie. The film was had hypnotic quality. It's well worth checking out. I don't agree with any of those things. So I think that you should definitely check out Willys Wonderland. You should definitely watch the Banana Split movie, particularly if you've seen the show. It's a very weird nostalgia to watch those things come alive because, you know, back when this show was big in the 60s and whatever, all the way till whenever it got canceled, like, those were people. Those weren't animatronics, not like that. They were people in, like, big-ass suits walking around. So this concept of animatronics going evil is always an interesting one, and we've seen that done several different ways over the years. I mean, even the new Chucky movie was an AI versus like an actual doll that was possessed during a spell and blah, blah, blah. So I think that part was special about it because it's like just a different concept on an animatronic as far as like moving and deciding to, you know, kill because it's upset that the show is being canceled. And I won't ruin the ending, but there's more to that piece. And Willys Wonderland was a really great story. I wish I could put into words all the things that I really loved about that movie because I feel like all of those things are sort of redundant. Like it was the atmosphere, it was the music, it was the gore, it was the acting, it was the story. Like all of those things came together so well. And both Banana Splits and Willys Wonderland was just so well made that I think it set the bar a little too high for me to watch Escape from Tomorrow. Because I don't understand what that movie is sex with underage women, like, is that like a cure for fixing your fucking life? Like, what was the point of the film? Was it to see if you could get, you know, sued by Disney? Because that doesn't make any sense. Like, what was the point? I don't understand the point. So, those are my thoughts on my family-friendly horror movies that I watched. Definitely watch Willys Wonderland on Hulu. Banana Split, I believe I rented on Amazon. I don't think I found it streaming anywhere, and then totally pass on paying for Escape from Tomorrow. Yep, that's all I got. So, hope you guys are enjoying your week. Have a great rest to your weekend, and I'll see you in the next one.